Claire Ducrot-Weinkauf. I'm the owner and the winemaker of Picayune Cellars in Calistoga, Napa Valley. You by now probably noticed I have a little bit of an accent. I'm originally from France. This is also where the name Picayune comes from. It means a little bit. That word also existed in the US. I know some of you are already thinking about it. It used to be in the South, in Louisiana, Mississippi. The Spanish had their normal coin, the real, but then they had a coin worth half the value of the real, and that was called the Picayune. So it's also remained in the American language, which I love because I'm obviously playing in both worlds. My goal with Picayune, my mission really, I am trying to make wine that I stylistically love and that I feel I can deliver with value. The reason I can do that is because I'm a négociant. I don't own a big winery or tons of vineyards. I actually either buy fruit or I buy juices. So this is Picayune Albarino 2021. All right, well, first maybe a little something about the label. A lot of people think it's blank. It is not. It's actually a Navarro blanket pattern. Whenever I use that label, it's my more personal wines. What it says is that I've made less than 10 barrels of any of the wines that have that label. In this particular case, it's 9 barrels. And then on the back of the label of all those wines, there is a quote, and it's dedicated to somebody. Particular case, to a valiant heart, nothing is impossible, and that's dedicated to my dad. So by now you know it's extra special wine to me. First, Albarino is a varietal that is not planted very much in California, and in Sonoma County there is only 2 vineyards. This is one of the 2, and it's only 1.7 acre. It's called Rusty Gate Farm. And like I just mentioned, I made 9 barrels of that wine. My goal with the Albarino is to try to preserve the quality of the variety and the purity of the fruit. Yet I'm really in search of building weight, texture, dimension to the wine. So the way I'm going to achieve that, or I try to achieve that every year, is by using a combination of barrel. I'm going to use a little bit of stainless steel. I'm going to use neutral French oak. Sometimes I'll throw a new oak barrel. And then every year I do an experiment. So in the case of the 2021, we did a native ferment in a concrete egg with, again, that same idea of trying to find an alternative way of building the texture without losing really the purity of the fruit. Let's see, so we can taste it. All right, so right out of the glass, you'll get a lot of stone fruit. I'm never quite sure, but I want to share that 2 acres of that property are planted with heirloom peach trees, and I do think that it influenced this wine. All right, so very exuberant on the nose, which is also something that I always search in all my wines. All right, so in the palate, there's many things going on. Albarino typically always have a little bit of that Yodan quality. You will find it here as well, maybe not as pronounced as in the whole world, but it's there. You got to remember, when you're in the Russian River Valley, you're really kind of a few miles away from the ocean. So you'll get a little bit of that salinity, and then there is a million things going on. Definitely a little bit of applesauce. There is really nice sort of silkiness from all those different barrels that I'm using. Let's see, I get a tiny bit of tropical on this right now, which is very pleasant as well. This is a wine, to be honest, if you can serve that with a ceviche, you will not be disappointed. It's kind of the perfect pairing as far as I'm concerned. It works great with, any sort of like tapas food, like, manchego cheese, that's gonna be sort of an obvious. But with any kind of, actually calamari would be very good as well. Yeah. Goodness, it's opening up and getting more apricot, sort of quince quality. This is delicious. Cheers. All right, guys, this is the 2018 Picayune Padlock. All right, so the Padlock is my signature wine. I've been making that baby since 2012. Originally, it was an ode to the right bank of Bordeaux, where I did my first harvest in Saint-Emilion. So that was a dominant Merlot. Over the years, it's evolved into being like the best possible blend I can make from Napa Valley and keep it at a reasonable price. Let's see, the 2018 vintage is 53% Cabernet Sauvignon, 34% Merlot, and 13% Malbec. You'll kind of notice sort of, well, I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's pretty inky color. Let's see, about the wine in itself, stylistically, my goal with this has been to kind of inspire myself from the wines made in the Napa Valley some 30 years ago. So I'm not trying to become a modern Napa Valley wine per se. So I'm looking, from the get-go, I'm looking for pure fruit on the nose, but bright fruit, not really like raisiny aromatic or too jammy aromatic. All right, so you'll get quite a bit of that. I get a lot of cassis, close to my heart. Can't help to be French. And the palate, it's opening up on more red fruit, actually. And then, so I get some bright, almost like Bing cherry. The tannins are a little firm, but they are not overpowering. There is some really good like graphite coming up. You get a little bit, I don't know if it's like the cigar box or maybe a tobacco leaf as well. Really nice Earl Grey note. It's a wine that it's a little bit chewy, but it's really lengthy. So it's actually a wine that is still quite fresh and not overpowering. So in my opinion, it's a wine that you can drink on its own, but will also, we are in Texas, will pair great with a steak. No worries. It's beautiful. Cheers.